All right, I just wanted to do a quick overview, basically, of the premise of gravity, and trying to debunk this equation, which really doesn't exist. So it's really nothing to debunk, just to expose it as having no clothes. But I think it's funny because the story that we are told about Isaac Newton, of course, it's a myth, but it's hilarious because you're sitting under a tree and apple hits you on the head, and like somebody who belongs in a psychiatric ward or something, you look up, oh, who did that? Must have been gravity. It's like this is stupid. And then they make fun of religious people for looking at lightning and saying it was God. Then the apple hit you on the head. Where is it? Who did that? The apple fell, dog. So this is scientism. We know it. This is their form of religion of faith. It would seem that all humans are wired for some type of faith, obviously. But going through some comments and rebuttals here from the official trolls, because I do like to get the official answers just to clarify and expose how absurd this stuff really is. Um, so he's talking about particles of dust. He says even a small particle of dust has its own gravitational field. And I say, well, I believe you're confusing your fictitious force with electric charge. So he comes back and says, well, you're partially true. It is believed that during the formation of our solar system, electric charge played an important role in starting the formation of planets. Now, already they're reneging on the initial concept of gravity being the God and creator and force behind all things. Now they're even postulating, well, yeah, it was electric charge because of all this electric theory coming out. And they can't debunk that either. Um, so he's saying, no, actually, electric charge started everything. Um, when the lumps of dust became too big, electric charge couldn't attract any more matter. That's when gravity stepped in and started to attract far more matter. Whoa. So he's saying gravity didn't come in till later. There was the coalescing of matter and lava, I guess, and gases based on simply electric charge, which is being studied and revealed. That electricity is really the primary force, electromagnetism. There's no need for gravity. So they're saying, well, okay, well, gravity stepped in later. So I say, okay, that's when gravity stepped in and started to attract far more matter. Holy gravity. So he says back, oh, sorry, poor choice of words. But with the increase in mass, gravity had gained more force than the electric charge, so it could attract more particles from farther distances. And this is the BS, of course, because they always tell you mass and gravity are proportional. But that's because mass is mass, and gravity doesn't exist. Like I said, it's a head on top of a head. It's like three-card Monty they're playing here. So there wasn't enough gravity until the mass got large enough due to the electric charge. But that flies in the face of how the sun itself, if it was throwing out a gravitational force or, resonating some type of force, it would have already had to play a role in the formation of the Earth. Like, this doesn't make any sense. And where did the point, in the vacuum, what determined that point as far as that point in space? To where this matter will coalesce around. A simple electric charge, I don't think would do that necessarily. Um, so there's holes in this answer. So I try to get him to reiterate. So does mass create the gravity, or does the gravity create the mass? He says mass generates gravity, and gravity concentrates mass. So this is the chicken before the egg, or what came first, the chicken or the egg type of question. So as he's saying, mass generates gravity, gravity concentrates the mass. Then that mass generates gravity, then the gravity concentrates the mass, and it just keeps going. So this is already again, it's like the same thing. Mass and gravity are one thing because mass is mass. There is no gravity. So I say so. There was an infinitesimal mass concentration particle before gravity. Then he jumps all the way to well before gravity. That would have been before the Big Bang, so no one knows what happened before the Big Bang. Everything started small concentrated point, and matter had time to cluster into areas of matter, which would then form stars and galaxies. I hope this answers your question, which it didn't. He jumped around the question. Because, like I said, to say mass generates gravity and gravity concentrates mass, you're getting into a chicken or egg debate. So, this is scientism at its best. So, he also goes down to say every atom has its own gravity field. The only difference is that gravity is a weak force, meaning it's only apparent on a large scale. And that's another good bullshit point they like to make. Because that equation I showed for the constant and the law of gravitation, the force, the F equation, the force, actually, we can't even use it because it doesn't really come into play unless you're dealing with the Earth and the Sun and the huge moon and but only NASA and the rocket science can do that. So we're just here to just trust in that G, that suspicious G that we see the secret societies use also. That's probably what it stands for, gravity. So I asked him, does a mountain gravitationally attract a mosquito? Because he said every atom has a gravity field. So does a mountain gravitationally attract a mosquito? Yes. He says yes. This is absurd. I mean, this is totally absurd. This is even this is a disturbing debate, and it really reveals something about our herd mind, our herd mentality that that humanity can possess. So basically, try to imagine what they're saying is that if you could just imagine yourself standing in a wide, wide open space and imagine two, let's say, balls or rocks, and just imagine them getting bigger and bigger and bigger, both getting bigger and bigger. Now, they're still sitting on the ground. Let's just say they started on the ground. Just imagine them getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, what they're saying is at some point, these objects are going to get so massive that they're going to float and revolve around each other or attract each other to and fro, I guess, like some nerds trying to kiss. I guess they'll never really touch, but then they'll have this magic distance just based off the fact that they got bigger and bigger. See, think about that. That's hocus pocus. Now, there is a place for believing in certain things that you would call magic, but not in the case of natural mundane law because we know it because we experience it. So we can't posit this hocus pocus onto our daily natural experience as they're doing. But as an adult, if someone were to tell you to imagine that at some point two objects could get enough mass, enough weight, size, in order to levitate, revolve, and stick around each other and dance around each other, you would call that nonsense. But this is childish programming, of course, and I would hope it is only effective on a child, but given this flat Earth stuff, when you talk to some people, it's still effective on them. But really, it's just the base level programming. It's the rearing since the childhood. It's very strong, so you really got to think for yourself around this hocus pocus. Peace.